Hi, my name is Vili, and welcome to physics. Newton's first law: an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force.
Okay, for this example, the ball is stationary with force of weight and normal force acting upon it. It would stay this way because no outside forces are acting upon it until Vili kicks it. It's the force applied. Because Vili applies the force, the ball is now moving. Otherwise, it would just stand still.
An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an unbalanced force.
Okay, the second part of the law, the ball is not moving in the Y, so the force of weight are balanced out, and force normal are balanced out. It is, however, moving in constant motion to the right. It will always continue to move in this direction unless it is acted upon by an outside force. In this case, the outside force is the force applied by Vili's foot, thus stopping the motion and canceling it out.
Newton's second law: the acceleration of an object is directly proportional to the net force acting on the object and inversely proportional to the object's mass.
My mass is too large.
Newton's second law on the X. Okay, for Vili and for me, forces in the Y are balanced out in force weight and force of normal. Okay, for Vili, the force applied is less than the force applied to move James, because Vili's mass is less than my mass. In this case, Shepard both pushes Vili and I at the same 90 degrees. If Shepard were to push Vili at more of a downward angle, it would be harder to move Vili than it would be beforehand. The longer that a force is applied means the farther the object you're applying force to will go. For instance, if I was going to apply a force of 5 newtons to Vili, he'd only move so far. If I was going to apply more time, but the same amount of force of 5 newtons, he would go longer. If you were to use the same amount of force you used to move Vili to move me, you would not go as far, because it takes a greater force applied to me, because I have a larger mass than Vili, to move me that distance. Newton's second law on the Y. You have to have a greater magnitude of force to move the soccer ball up than to move the lacrosse ball up. If both the soccer ball and the lacrosse ball are in the air the same amount of time, they will also hit the ground at the same amount of time, because regardless of mass, gravity is always constant upon an object. So after, let's say, 1 second, it'll fall 9.8 meters.
Newton's third law: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Okay, for Newton's third law, Vili is pushed against the wall. The wall is pushing back with the same amount of force. So, since this law exists, Vili does not go through the wall. Okay, if this law did not exist, Vili would push against the wall, and nothing would be pushing back. Therefore, Vili would just go through the wall.